The topics of suicide and losing a loved one are discussed in this video. We present a point of view intended to help people feel safe and loved. If you need additional mental and/or emotional help, please contact a professional. Dial 988 for help. This video is for entertainment purposes only. I had a dream that he was at a huge family event. And all of the family went to go inside the building except him. He kept walking in my dream. And I said, "Hey, come back. We're going to go inside." And he kept walking like he didn't hear me in the dream. And then he dropped a key ring full of keys, like 100 keys. It was weird how many keys were on the key ring. And he kept walking. And I yelled his name in the dream. And I said, "You dropped your keys." And he turned around and he said, "I don't need them anymore." And he walked off. And the next morning I got a phone call that they found him and that he went in his sleep. We're taking ourselves into these spaces of realization of just how not separated we are.
Oh, we're not at all.
How not separated we are. And this space of heaven even, we could go into a lot of directions on this one. We might need to make another video on that, but keeping it in alignment with just the understanding of no separation and the way in which our loved ones, those close to us that leave physicality, they are still with us. They're right here. It's just a different field. They're on a different field, but the fields are like inside each other. They're like inside each other. And so it's not even like way out over there, past Sirius, third star to the right. No, it's like right here. Hello. Welcome to this space. I'm so excited. We have one of our favorite guests back. You guys really love her. I can tell. You guys comment on her videos. You come into the spaces and you're just so grateful for these connection points with her. So I'm very grateful Jazzy agreed to come back. So welcome, beautiful Jazzy. Welcome to this space.
Hello, Mama. Hello. Thank you. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
We're very grateful, Jazzy. You have such a vibrant spirit and presence, and it's just such a gift. So thank you for bringing it here.
Thank you.
We kind of have an idea where we want to go, Jazzy. You and I have been talking, and this was birthed weeks ago, maybe even, but we got it scheduled and we got our way here to the call. So we're going to take everybody with us, and we want to talk about a couple of different things, but one of the alignments is we're going to touch on our perception, Jazzy's, myself's, of heaven, and possibly everybody could entertain, tap in at whatever degree, increment you feel comfortable doing so. But that heaven is not only for dead people. I know that's so weird, right? Like,
no,
what?
It's perfect.
How long have we all lived, right? Where I was raised where that's where you go when you die, and that you understand you'll see your loved ones again, but you're also in this understanding of separation. They're there and you're here, and it can be really, really hard. I remember walking through different spaces of loved ones and the loss of them. And it did help me to know or hold a belief and a faith that they were in a space called heaven and that I would see them again. But we hold a view, and I'm not going to speak for Jazzy. I'm going to ask her to speak for herself, and then I'll share mine as well. But I think we hold a view that's a little bit different, maybe a lot, from the alignment of they're gone, or they're like gone to another place that we don't have access to.
Hmm.
So, Jazzy, you take it the way you want to take it, open it up, unbox it, and let us in on your perspective of it.
Okay, so I mean, I see time as an illusion, a distortion that was placed on Earth. And yes, we have a linear timeline, which I function great in, but there's also all these other spaces. So, I mean, I grew up in a Lutheran Christian home, and so I'm going to say God, I'm going to say heaven. I know those are just, there's thousands of other spaces. So when a person dies, they're they're immediately I'll say in the light, heaven, immediately. There's no dark tunnel toward the light. You go toward the light. And there was actually an author, I forget her name, but she gave a questionnaire to people who had near death experiences who actually flatlined, and they were brought back. And she asked them, was there a tunnel? And you went toward the light. And everybody said no. They were instantly. So even though they're, and I see them, they have instantly died, they're also instantly right with you. They're right here. There's no, time is very, 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 very different than what we experience on Earth. And I'm not minimizing anybody's grief, pain, because when my mother died for years, I couldn't celebrate Mother's Day. I was like, no, not doing it. And when my cats died, Smokey and Tiger, you can see we were very, very creative with our names, naming our cats. So, and they died before the pandemic within a year of each other. And they started to die at home. They both had blood clots. Their back legs went paralyzed. It was so traumatic that it wasn't until around 6 months ago I thought, okay, I can get another cat. So I'm not minimizing. But, and this means anybody, any age, a pet, an animal, a plant, a tree, anything. They're immediately right with you. And they're also in the light. So, like like Andrea's father, I only know about your dad because from what you've told me. I don't know anything. I don't know what he looks like, but he'll come through. I see my mom because I know what she looks. I mean, I know what she looks like. When your dad comes through, I just know it's him. So I had suicidal ideation since the 6th grade. So I thought I did not understand how anybody wanted to stay here. I fantasized about going to heaven all the time. All the pain would be gone. And the heavy, But now, and I, worked through all that, had a lot of therapy and stuff over that. But here's the thing. You don't have to die to go to heaven. You don't have to die to see your loved ones. And there's no, I mean, there's no like when someone dies and someone says, "Oh, I hope they find so and so." There's no finding; they're right there. They don't have to search. They don't have to search. Maybe their child, maybe a child died, and I hope they find it. No, they're all right there. But yeah, so you absolutely do not have to die to go to heaven. Heaven is available right now, right this every breath. So and I'm not saying there aren't horrible things that happen in the world. There aren't wars, pain, suffering. But it's a choice. And I understand it, a very deep distortion, illusion that you have to die to go to heaven. But it's not, it's shifted. I mean, we've ascended so much that I'll say, I won't say I know that I don't have to die to go to heaven. It's right here.
I love that. I love that, Jazzy. I was making notes as you were speaking. You were saying so many profound things. Thank you for that. I loved that you said it's immediate. It's immediate the minute the soul leaves the body. experiences the physical death of the body, it's immediately with the light, in the light. And I believe it's because it's immediately in the light as the light. You know what I mean? I think you hold that
Mm-hmm.
alignment as well. And it's also still with the space of yes, experience that it knew as its last soul experience, its last life, meaning,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, it's immediately with the light and it's still with you. So if it's a
Mm-hmm.
child or a parent or a sibling or a friend or whatever it is, and they die, physically die, they are no longer utilizing their physical vessel, the body, but they aren't gone. They're still with us, and they're just in a state of existence in which they are the light space of the soul. They are the consciousness of the soul. They've left the vessel that soul
Yes.
was using, but they're still right there. And I have had this, several different experiences where I've validated and confirmed this in my own personal life. I've told some of the stories before. My nephew passed away at an early age, a traumatic car accident, came out of nowhere. Nobody saw the death coming. It wasn't like an older person lived their whole life and all this, and everybody was kind of ready. We weren't ready. And I was on my way to the hospital to try to get there before my nephew could possibly pass because of the trauma to the body. And
Mm-hmm.
I had to travel a long distance to get there, 6 hours. And I remember at one point in the journey, I was only about an hour and a half out or so from the hospital. But I remember the sound in the vehicle changed. And it was just like my being was sensing or picking up on that I was in a different frequency, even though I was in the vehicle and I was driving on the road just like I had been for hours. All of a sudden, I had entered a different frequency, or a different frequency had entered my space.
Yeah.
And so the sound changed. And again, this is just my experience. It could be different for everybody else, but I'm on my way to the hospital trying to get there in time. The sound changes. It felt as if sound got taken out. So it was like
Mm.
vacuumed. And I was in a
Gosh.
voidish type space, which I think
Mm.
that can fit this conversation really well. So my body is driving a vehicle in a space of a field existence that also my body is housing my consciousness that was registering a different field existence at the same time. And in
Mm.
that different of fields of frequency, the sound was different, the frequency was different, and my body was registering it the way it was registering it. Now, because the sound left, I kind of keyed in a bit, like what's going on, right?
Yeah.
And when I did that, I also registered the sensation that somebody was in the front seat, even though nobody was physically in the front seat next to me. I was driving. I registered somebody was there. And it's, how you have that feeling? You just know somebody's
Mm-hmm.
behind you or somebody's, or whatever. And so I look over and I could visually see my
Mm.
nephew, the one that was in the
Wow.
hospital, that we didn't know if he was going to make it or not. And I could see him, and I
Mm.
said his name, and he kind of just did his head at me like, like, hey. And then it was like, it wasn't verbal. It wasn't his mouth moving, my mouth moving. It was just this transfer of information, like knowing, right? And
Mm.
it wasn't even like we think of telepathy where it's a full thought and then another full, it was just completely the whole entire thing at one moment
Yeah.
of knowing. But it was just him basically saying, I was like, I knew he was leaving. And
Mm.
he was telling me in that moment, I'm on my way out and I'm stopping in here because I was the only family member that wasn't already by his bed.
Oh,
I was the
wow.
only one who, I lived the farthest and I left immediately. And I was very, very close to him. And I think he knew that it would be very loving if he could somehow have that moment with me because I
Yeah.
wasn't going to make it. At that point, I don't know this yet, but I have this supernatural experience, right? He's in my vehicle. He's telling me he's on his way out. He's leaving. And
Mm.
I continue driving. I know in my being, I'm processing best I can to be prepared that when I get there, I will hear this, you know. And my brother met me in the parking lot of the hospital. They didn't call me because they didn't want to upset me because I was driving by myself, right?
Right.
And my brother met me in the parking lot. And before he could even tell me, I was like, I know.
Mm.
And he's like, he tells me he didn't make it and everything. And I, it doesn't shock me, but at the same time, it feels like such a blessing in a way because the time of death matched him being in my vehicle. He
Mm. Wow.
stopped by on the way out. He left the body, and in that
Mm.
increment of with the light that you just so beautifully shared with us, he was telling me goodbye in a void where there's no time.
Right.
We had left the alignment of the human timeline. I was consciously in an alignment of flow. It was open. It was voided of construct. And he was already moving into that light space of himself that he's always been. He's never not been
Yeah.
it. He just
Right.
inhabited a physical vessel to experience a physical life, but he is now who he's always been. And so that was fascinating. I've had a couple other ones that were really cool as well. My dog passed, and I'll put a picture in here
Mm.
in the video. This one's really
Oh.
cool. I had two dogs. They grew up together, and so they aged together. And then the one died first. When the first one passed, the next day, I was seated on the patio outside, and I was eating my lunch, and my other dog was sitting next to me. And I noticed her
Mm.
looking like she was looking at something, but there was nothing physically there. And so I just knew in my being, grab your phone and take a photo. Because sometimes the camera will pick up stuff the eye can't. And so I
Yeah.
took this photo, and you'll see it here. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, like there was no precipitation, there was no rain, there was no water in the air at all. It was a dry, sunny day. And if you look at this, I'll zoom in on the picture. There's, it looks like a heart floating in the air made of rainbow
Oh.
colors. Rainbow
Oh.
colors. And my dog was picking it up. My dog was sensing it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's my other dog. That's Harriet. Harriet is here. And there's been so many other things as well. My brother in law, I had a dream that he was at a huge family event. And all of the family went to go inside the building except him. He kept walking in my
Mm.
dream. And I said, hey, come back. We're going to go inside. And he kept walking like he didn't hear me in the dream. And then he dropped a key ring full of keys, like 100 keys. It was weird how many keys were on this
Huh.
key ring. And he kept walking. And I yelled his name in the dream. And I said, you dropped your keys. And he turned around and he said, I don't need them anymore. And he
Oh,
walked
wow.
off. And the next morning I got a phone call that they found him and that he went in his sleep.
Oh, goosebumps everywhere.
But this is like so like we're taking ourselves into these spaces of
Mm.
realization of just how not separated we are.
Oh, we're
How
not at all.
not separated we are. And this space of heaven, even, you know, yeah, we could go into a lot of directions on this one. We might need to make another video on that, but keeping it in alignment with just the understanding of no separation and the way in which our loved ones, those close to us that leave physicality, they are still with us. They're right here. It's just
They're
a
right here.
different field. They're on a different field, but the fields are like inside each other. They're like inside each
Yes.
other. And so it's not even like way out over there, you know,
It's not.
past Sirius, third star to the right. No, it's like right here.
Yes, I I talk to people who, a child, and I cannot even fathom being a parent and having a child. I can, but so first of all, like a child or anybody dies, they're immediately so loved, so happy. I talked to one woman. her son died, and I was like, well, first of all, he's having a great time. He is jumping through dimensions. He's flying everywhere. I was trying to convey that. Oh, he's like right here, and I know he's physically, they're not physically here. I know that. I understand that. But like when my cats died, I felt them right away. Like they sleep in my arms. But it's like there's no, so hard to describe. They're so loved beyond love that they're so happy.
Yeah.
They're just so, there's no, like separation. And I just like, oh, if I could just let anybody please know, if there's no separation, there really isn't. Like Andrew said, there's none. They're here, but in a different energetic. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that I get that that's hard because there is the physical separation and we acknowledge that day and night. And that's a huge one to navigate. It's a huge one. When my father died, I missed him so deeply. I cried every night for
Oh,
months.
yeah.
But it's like also at the same time, learning. This could be maybe a helpful word, possibly. We're learning that we have the opportunity to connect, to feel, to sense, to be together, even though they're physically not here. We don't have to wait till we die and go to heaven to see them. We can see them now.
No.
And I know that a lot of people will be like, well, I want to, but I can't. I've tried so hard. I understand. I really understand. And I'm not saying that it's super easy and mentally easy and emotionally easy. I'm just saying it's possible. And I'm saying that if you and I and all of us become more available, like just be okay with it not being as fast as we want it, okay with it being possible, period, we'll kind of loosen the grip up and we'll step into a new space of ourselves where it becomes less difficult. It becomes more common. So I really loved how you were talking about time. And this is a big one. This helped me tremendously. This is even taught in the Christian belief as well. A day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like a day. In the understanding of we would have to go through 1,000 years on earth before it's one day in heaven. The concept of the space of the vibrational field that they call heaven. Okay. So like my father has been gone since 94. Yeah. 95. Wait. 94. And so it's 2026. That's a long time, right? Well, I had a connection with him just in this last year where I actually saw the field kind of open itself up like kind of like a rip in the field in a sense, an envelope opening up in the field so that there was this connection point visually to the field of heaven. Okay. And I could feel it before I could see it. But because I felt it, I paid attention, just like in the car. I could feel the presence and then I looked and could see, right? So I could feel something was happening to the air, the space in front of me. And I was just like,
Wow.
ooh, what is this, And then all of a sudden I could see it opening and I could see through it. And on the other side of this, nothing really, but that was parting itself open. On the other side, like what felt like 3 feet away, perceptionally, but was vibrationally dimensions away. Okay. But what felt like 3 feet human distance, I could see my dad. I could see my dad, and then I could see my nephew that had passed away. I could see my cousin that passed away. I could see my nana. I could see all these people that had passed away. My dad was the center, right in front of this kind of separation of
Wow.
the space. And my dad was like, hey, baby girl, hey. And he was trying to talk so fast because it was like this knowing, I could tell this wasn't normal. This wasn't super easy. This was a new space of us. And he was utilizing every second as fast as he could because it wasn't like we could hold it open forever because the amount of consciousness in resonance with one another that it took to open it for the length we held it and to maintain what we were able to is at such a level that we don't necessarily live there commonly yet. But we're
Yeah,
beginning
yes,
to, we're
yes.
beginning to. This is how you begin to, right? So I could tell all of this very quickly. But what was fascinating was the people that were with him, my family members, they were all jumping on his shoulder, like hugging on him, and go, like they just seen him for the first time in a while for them in
Ah,
physicality, in a sense. You know what I mean? Like together in the same
mm,
space. And I could tell he had just got there.
mm,
To him, he had just got there. A day is like 1,000 years. 1,000 years is like one day. Okay. He had been gone. What are we talking about? My mind would like me to use a calculator. Let's do it.
oh
Okay.
yeah, I
So
had to use a
2026 minus 1994.
4.
32 years.
Wow. Yeah.
32 years. He hasn't even been there seconds.
Right. Yeah.
Seconds. So, like, when somebody loses somebody and you miss them, yeah, you're going to have to deal with your side of it. But if you are able to tap into that heart space and say, at the end of the day, what's most important to me that could help strengthen me and get through this moment? Well, what's most important to me is that they're safe and they're loved. I know that that's true. Yeah. And
Mm.
what's most important to me is they don't even know to miss me yet. I
Yeah.
might be missing them for 30 some years, but they haven't even gotten their bearings yet.
Hmm.
They would have to be gone 1,000 years, according to that specific verse, okay? They would have to be gone 1,000 years of earth time to us, and it'd still only be 24 hours to them.
Yes.
He looked like he just got there. He
Yeah.
looked like he just got there. And that, Jazzy said, the love is so enormous. The
Mm.
peace is so deep. Every single near death that I've heard that I've trusted, because, you can hear some that you're thinking, I don't know about that. But every single one that I've felt I resonated with, they said it was so beautiful, it was hard to come back.
Yes. Yes. And even people, and I've seen this, even people who take their own lives. And growing up Christian, it was like, oh, I was always told they're going to feel all your pain. That's all, live in that space.
Mm.
They, they're immediately in love. And what I love is that we don't stop learning when we leave this body and go wherever we're going, that they still learn.
Mm.
And they're still learning, and they take responsibility for what they did. They don't, but it's so hard to explain. But they're not like judged, or they've going to live in that space of, oh, I took it. No, it's not. That's a just, I don't know. It's an old weird. Just, I don't know. But yeah, it's like when my father passed, I felt him, and he felt very sad because he realized how he treated me. So, and he took responsibility for it. So if you know someone who you didn't have a great relationship, or just know that they know exactly what they did. And I've worked with people where their parent came through and they apologized.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to put into words, but yes.
You did a fantastic job. And the soul is continuing its journey. It's continuing to grow. It's continuing to learn. And part of that is processing what it just experienced, even if it's no longer experiencing it. So if it left in a way that was traumatic, it chose to leave early, it was hateful when it was here, whatever the thing is, as it transitions into that new space of continued expansion, continued
Mm-hmm.
exploration, it processes where it's been, who it's been, and then it also like gleans from that, takes from that the wisdom it's ready to in that moment. It's never done.
Mm.
No one's
It's
done.
never done. It's
No
never done.
one's done. It'd be really beautifully helpful to all to just be okay with that. And if you understand yourself as a soul, if you understand yourself as eternal, and you're having a now, you have a physical life, you have a physical experience, and then you die physically one day, and you know that you continue on as soul, spirit, light, whatever words you're using. That's forever and ever and ever.
Never. Yes.
And we could get into a whole nother conversation, and it would be fun. We'll tap a little here, but due to time, we're going to have to come back to it.
Oh, yes.
But I believe we're so vast that consciously vast that I'll do it like this for use for the mind to wrap itself around this thought. So Andrea, myself, has this lifetime, has this family, has these relationships, has these memories, has these experiences, learns these lessons, and is an eternal soul inside of this life. And then when Andrea comes to the point where this is no longer going to be the playing field for her, and she leaves the physicality and she moves back into spirit, I believe we're so vast that there's a availability that the soul can choose to maintain the continued space of Andrea as Andrea with Andrea's dad and Andrea's nephew and Andrea's cousin and Andrea's nana and all those people that also chose that space of vastness to be allotted its ability to continue.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
my light can continue on in an entirely new experiential space and grow in new ways, exploring from new vantage points that Andrea has never been.
Oh, thank you for saying that, because I know that. Yeah. Thank you.
I love meeting somebody that knows it.
Oh, you said it perfectly. I was like, oh, thank you. Yes.
It is a big concept. It's a big concept, to convey, to hear, to receive, to all of this. Because I have people, that will say like, well, if we're going to be with our loved ones again, then how would we continue the journey? And how would we continue creating new worlds and exploring new spaces? And if we're eternal, wouldn't we benefit from the continuation? Exactly. And that's how our vastness plays it out. Our vastness plays it out. Yes. And that vastness is source. That vastness is source itself. So
thank you so much for talking.
No, it's a big space, and not everybody has to believe what we believe. And I have family members that they're not comfortable with this, They're much more comfortable with a more traditional viewpoint, theological viewpoint that they grew up with, and that matches, them and meets them where they're at, and they are comfortable with that. I take nothing from no one. I just choose what I believe. I choose what works for me. And my life is reflecting these understandings to me in so many ways. And I'm available to hold them, to be processing them, And so then they're continuing to unfold. But I liked that you mentioned immediately with the light and still with you. And that is huge because, okay, this can get a little trippy for people. And they're like, well, my loved one is with me. Like, when are they with me? Because I don't want to be doing something that could be embarrassing, or I don't want to be doing something that they shouldn't know I do, or something like that, Okay, here's my take on that. Then Jazzy, please chime in. One, first and foremost, maybe all I need, and I don't even need a number two, is the fact that when you're in soul space experiential point of reference of yourself, you're in soul space experience, you've left physical, you look at things very, very differently than when you're in human. And they don't even process or register what we would see as private or, you don't want them to know about this or whatever. They don't even process from that standpoint. And it isn't even that easy in a sense to, be in your business. It isn't. Because I've had people say before, I feel like I have this relative that passed and they keep showing up everywhere and they keep trying to contact me and they keep this, and this. Well, 90% of that, if not more, is that person that thinks it's happening to them, creating it all themselves through whatever they're believing or holding fear on or whatever. It's not like that. That is not how the other side works. If we say other side, it's right here in this side as well, but it isn't how it works. It isn't how it doesn't function like that. There's a distortion that was placed inside of this whole concept that talks about really dark things, really heavy things, and we've fed it for so long. It's strong, but it's not accurate. It's not accurate. And now we're giving ourselves the opportunity to actually focus on, which is feeding energy to the expansion of the light, the space of ourselves that is remembering these really beautiful, powerful alignments that we already are, but we just haven't been looking at.
Right. They're not, I know this is in movies. Like there's a ghost or a person who died and they're with you, following you and like feeling sad if this happened or no, it's not. It's very, yeah, it's very, that's an old belief pattern or way of thinking. But so I'm usually just doing very mundane things. I'm not meditating. I'm not thinking, oh, I wonder how my mom's doing. I'll just be doing something. Oh, like your dad will come in, your nephew will come in, who I love both of them so much. And I'm just like, oh, it's not like, right. There's no, yeah, they're not, if you're being, maybe you're married and you're intimate. There's not, it's not.
It's not like that.
Don't worry.
It's not like, oh, I want to take a shower. I hope they'll all turn around so I can take a shower. It's like, this is not how it works.
It's not how it works. So let that, it's just an old belief. I don't know, pattern. I don't know.
Now, how do you feel about this? We got a few minutes, but let's touch on it a little bit. I do feel that it's vibrational alignment, it's resonance. So I do feel like when my dad came in and I had that experience the way I had it, I do believe it was connected to the fact that I was in a really high state of frequency. Like I didn't plan it. I wasn't trying, like you said, I wasn't like, let me try to talk to my dad. I miss my dad or whatever. I wasn't even thinking about my dad. Like you said, I was just getting in bed to go to sleep. And I had had an amazing day. And I was thinking about the day and I was filled with so much joy. I could hardly even go to sleep. I was so happy. And I was like talking to myself. I was laying in bed, whispering to myself, I love my life. Oh my God, I love my life. I love my life. I'm so happy. And then all of a sudden, that's when I felt the change. I felt the frequency change. And I feel like there's something that we're teaching ourselves about the way we resonate, connects us into and plugs us into the spaces we experience. And that I don't think spirits, people that are in spirit form, no longer in flesh, I don't think they go just anywhere. I think they also have to still abide by the same law of universe, period, physical or not, that it's resonance based. So if they're in spirit, they're already in a resonance base that is going to be what we would call higher. That's not perfect, but it is higher than a physical, because a physical has to slow down some to become form, Even if it's still that spirit, it had to slow down some, so, get inside that form. So when I was having that experience where I was so filled with gratitude and joy, I think my frequency revved itself up enough and my dad pulled himself down enough, and we just caught that rift where it opened up a little bit and he was like, hey, I got a few seconds here. And he just shot me the information he could shoot me, and I picked up on it, and it was incredible. It was incredible. But it was fast. It was really fast. And I think that's because to maintain that type of alignment, you have to hold that resonance. Now, I do think when we started off the call, we said heaven's not only for dead people, right?
Yeah.
The only thing that separates us from heaven, yes, is the way we're registering ourselves and the world around us.
Absolutely. Yes.
Where I believe we could begin to speak and act and live from the knowing that we are in heaven. But we
Yes.
wear a different vibration, in a sense. We utilize a different vibrational existence line. And so because we utilize a different line, we tend to experience a little bit of a different take on the space of heaven. And I know somebody's going to say, well, there's no way I'm in heaven because I've got hell going on. I've got war going on. I've got bills that won't leave me alone. I've
Mm-hmm.
got whatever it is, right? That's that other video that I think we need to make. That's the video that takes heaven into a different interpretation, an additional interpretation, because the
Yes.
kingdom of heaven is also within. And if within is out of alignment with its space of the I am frequency that you are, then you start feeling like you're in hell, even when you're still in heaven, but your interpretation is coming in as hell because you're out of that alignment with your I am frequency. So I jumped there really fast, really hard, but I
No, it's-
apologize. I didn't let you in the door on that one. I kept talking.
no.
But what do you think about, yeah, what do you think about the way in which the frequency of the person does play a role? Like when you're washing the dishes and all of a sudden you feel your mom, it wasn't that you purposefully tried it in a sense. You just were vibing. Like you were just, hitting a frequency where the dial was close enough that the message could carry over, the signal could come in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I wasn't right. I wasn't thinking, but like, so let's say I talked to someone and someone passed. I don't know. Yeah, the frequency. Right. So I see them instantly. Yeah, I haven't really thought that honestly, I haven't thought that much about frequency because people, right, they experience, they can't maybe sense or feel or the frequency. Yes, I have had this for since I was, younger. So it's just natural to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
it's
an important part of it. So there's no judgment for anyone that can't register it or pick up the
no,
frequency. There's no
oh
judgment.
no,
But at the same time, there is opportunity. There is opportunity because even if you weren't born with it, came in with it like Jazzy, even if you didn't learn to begin to tap in and utilize it like myself, yeah. Everyone, I believe, every organic human has the opportunity, has the availability, if they'll allow it, and if they'll lean in and just be patient and continue to be available to shift into a frequency of receptivity. Because I really do think it is like a huge dial on a radio station. And even when I do my classes, I do these YouTube videos, I do client calls, whatever it is, I tell you guys all the time, I breathe before I come in, just briefly, and I have an intended breath. So it's like, remember who you are, Andrea. And I'm thinking of the higher mind, the higher heart. I'm thinking of the I am frequency. I'm thinking of the space of me that is able to be in connection with my dad and be physical. I'm thinking of my eons and eons and eons old self that is beyond comprehension, And I'm thinking of the origin point I come from, that is source itself. That thought is like all one time, all 1 second, all one breath for me. And that I believe can be taught. I believe you can. Anybody hearing us right now, you can make the decision to allow, yes, and trust, yes, that you can take that breath. You can hold that belief. You can have that faith and watch it open. Because you
just
gave
think
it
about
this,
yeah.
yeah, you gave it the space to do it. You gave it the space to do it. It'll do it when you're ready to. And it'll do it the way you're ready to. Mine's not all the time. Jazzy says hers happens out of the blue. And then sometimes we go on client calls, we work with a client, it's on. So, we don't get in our heads about it. We don't judge it. And we don't think it has to be always beck and call. The minute I say it, I'm going to talk to my dad.
Right. Yeah.
We just
It's yeah.
allow.
I always tell people just think about the person you love. That changes the frequency right there. Just
Yes.
You're
Starts
right
tuning
there.
in.
You're
Starts
right
tuning in.
connected. And they'll be like, no, I said, just think about it. Just think. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
if you don't have like what I see, or just think about them. And I always say, I say is if God is in us, we're in God. Well, if heaven is in us, then we're in heaven
Yes, that's beautiful,
right
Jazzy.
now.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that. This has been fantastic. Thank you,
That was
Jazzy, for
fun.
this
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you for this time together. Anyone hearing this call, any questions, comments, feedback, please look below this video. There's a way for you to comment there. If you want to write privately, you can email me. If you want to reach out to Jazzy, Jazzy is available for Acasma Quantum Energy sessions and these connection points where she will share insights with you that would be beneficial to assist the ever expanding movement of you. So you have that option if you vibe with Jazzy and you'd like to work with Jazzy. That's okay to say, right, Jazzy? You're available?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, see, she didn't ask me to plug her. I'm just plugging her naturally because she's so cool.
No, we didn't have a secret handshake. Okay, now you talk. No, we didn't do that.
All right, holy ones, thank you
Oh,
for
feels good
being
to
this
laugh.
space. Thank you for being this space.
Thank you.
And we have a beautiful community too. If you want to join us, our beautiful Acosma family of light, we'd love to have you there. We'll be back. We'll talk more. You'll come back, Jazzy?
Yes, I would love to. I love talking to you. It's so much fun. It's so much fun.
All right, huge waves of love to all of you. Thank you for being this space. Thank you for being this space.